1979. Children with autism performed as well as, or better than, neurotypical controls at imitating tones made by voice, piano, and synthesizer.
It was published in, looks like September of 1979. Applebaum, Egel, Kegel, Imhoff. Yeah, the rest of the people, the group. And it was a fairly small sample. They had 3 normal children who had reported musical abilities. Then they had 3 autistic children, and they were tested for ability to imitate individual tones. And then also a series of tones that were delivered by voice, piano, or a synthesizer. And they were judged by 2 independent observers looking at pitch, rhythm, and duration. And it said that overall, the autistic children overall performed as well or better than the age-related normal or neurotypical children that were reported to have musical abilities.
2003. Higher pitch sensitivity was found in individuals with autism than neurotypical controls during a same different analysis of pure tones.
2010. Participants with autism but not with Asperger's syndrome displayed enhanced pitch discrimination for simple tones.
And so they took a group of participants from adolescents and young adults with autism, Asperger's syndrome, and typical developing people with IQs in the normal range. And they found that the participants with autism displayed enhanced pitch discrimination for simple tones. And these findings showed that the pitch-tone discrimination may be a cognitive correlate of speech delay among persons with autism.
2013. Teenagers with autism were better at identifying pitch differences than the typically developing group. Teenagers with the best pitch perception were the latest to start talking as toddlers.
So the individuals who were able to discriminate pitches better were the ones to speak later.
2014. Children with autism showed greater pitch discrimination ability as well as superior long-term memory for melody. Pitch memory correlated positively with scores on measures of nonverbal fluid reasoning ability.
So it was pretty interesting. They took children between the ages of 7 and 13 who were not musically trained, and they had children on the autism spectrum as well as IQ matched typically developing children. And it was very specific. They had to discriminate between isolated tones and then in different contexts, and then as well as what was the word they used? Tones together, a melody.
Yes.
And then, but it was altered. The first one, they had to decide if it was different or the same, and it was just altered just a little bit. 10 cents between each one, sharp or flat, which would be difficult. And of course, the children with autism did better across all areas, but what they found was that, what I found interesting, because I see this in my practice as well, the children did better with autism on the nonverbal reasoning skills, which I thought was pretty interesting.
The children were able to remember the pitches up to a week later, the exact pitch. And so I know a lot of you at home have worked with kids with autism and you've seen them recite movies or songs or things like that. So that was really an interesting finding.
2015. Scores on the autism spectrum quotient correlated significantly with the pitch discrimination and time interval discrimination tasks based on a fixed reference. 2015. 97% of individuals with autism, many who also had a severe language impairment, demonstrated instantaneous pitch matching abilities on piano compared to 53% of controls.
So this study, they took 118 children. It says 38 participants were autistic with severe language impairment. There were also some other children with just developmental disorders and the neurotypical children as well. And they had each of them match their pitch to the pitch of the piano. And almost 100% of the children with autism were able to, 97, much more so than the neurotypical developing children.
2017. Preserved pitch processing in school-age children with autism was found. Nonverbal, not verbal skills predicted performance in both children with autism and those without. 2018. Individuals with autism and comorbid language impairments performed as well as typically developing controls on tempo conditions and better than typically developing controls on pitch perception tasks.